Hey, it is Hacktoberfest. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the first office hours of this Hacktoberfest season. I am Earl Duque. I am one of five or six people that is helping administrate this year's ServiceNow partnership with ServiceNow's participation in Hacktoberfest. I'm a developer advocate with ServiceNow, and we are in it. We are in the midst of all of it. And so we have these office hours that we have been planning since the beginning. 2 years ago, we did an office hours almost, was it like almost every day, like every other day or something like that. Last year, we didn't do any office hours. And then everyone's like, bring back office hours. So we're like, all right, we'll bring back office hours. And so we are having office hours once a week during the month of October, all in different time zones. So I'm in California, so I'm covering all the time zones for all the states and North America and South America. We have an office hours next week that is being hosted to be good for the India time zones and the Asia Pacific and Japan time zones. And then the week after that will be an office hours that is focusing on Europe. And so we're trying to not only just do office hours this year, but also do it in more friendlier time zones for everybody. And so if you're watching this, you're likely in similar time zones with me, plus or minus 2 or 3, and or you're Laszlo and you are staying up late just to hang out and be in the chat. So cool. Hey, who's hanging out? Hey, David. Hey, Fabian. Hey, T. Diaz. Hey, Ben. Hey, Stefan. Yeah, go West Coast. Go. Oh, and there he is. Laszlo, how do you know? Yeah, so as I think people are probably figuring out by now that if you follow our channel, this channel, the dev program channel for ServiceNow, you probably know by at this point that Laszlo and I, we have the weirdest hours. We are up late all the time. We are staying up to do random stuff at random hours. It's kind of just how we operate. Isn't that like the dev life, just staying up late to do random coding stuff? But luckily, this is in the middle of the day for me. I didn't have to wake up at 6 a.m. like the kickoff stream just so to do this stream. So here, I'm just cleaning my glasses real quick. Okay, so office hours. Hey, Nia's in the chat. We have stuff that we want to go through. Raghu, I'm just about to get into that. What's happening here? So this is office hours. It's open office hours. Obviously, it's not even a webinar. To participate, I would love for you to jump in the chat and tell us if you are working on something, or if you have submitted something that you want us to look through again, or you are wanting to get to know how to get involved in our participation of Hacktoberfest, because there are prizes and you can get potentially 2 t-shirts out of it. And what hacker doesn't love free t-shirts? And tell us where you are in this journey. Tell us like what's stopping you from participating. Tell us, hey, I started, but what do I do next? And that's what this is for. We want to talk to you and walk you through the process wherever you are in this Hacktoberfest journey. I'm working on making lunch. Does that count? Yeah, it does. All right. Question here. Stefan, for the Hack for Good repo, I recall a question is asking if we want to present this in the future. What was the intent behind that question? Oh, okay. So let me share my screen and I'll try to get to that part. How do I press the button? That's good. What's better? I like that layout. Let's do this one. Okay. Stefan is talking about one of our repositories called Hack for Good. This repository, the Hack for Good repository, is all about submitting ideas for future potential apps that might benefit a specific company, a nonprofit company, or apps that any company could potentially install to provide social impact or good impact on the environment, society, their people, etc. And so this app, if you import it into your ServiceNow instance, has a portal that Laszlo, one of our other core administrators, created that allows you to submit these ideas for potential future hackathons for Hack for Good. And when you import it into ServiceNow, what that looks like is there. Ooh, yeah. Oh, I need to sync it actually. There is a question in the app that asks if you would like to participate potentially in the creation of this in the future. And Stefan's asking, what's the intent behind that question? Well, the intent behind that question is every time you submit a Hack for Good proposal or an idea submission, when we approve it and it gets added to the overall repository, we know who you are. So everybody that's in here and it has potentially said yes on a proposal that our Hack for Good partners like, they'll look at it later and they say, that person really wants to be part of this and they are the original submitter. Let's contact them. And so we have your information here because it was through GitHub. And we'll message you likely through the pull request that you make. So that is how we'll contact you to potentially ask you like, hey, we want to actually run this hackathon to build this app. Do you want to be part of it as the person that originally ideated it? So that's a really cool part of it. Also cool. Lastly, that is dope that you were able to pull the little images into this too. That's cool. Yeah, this little automate. We're all learning some cool stuff through Hacktoberfest every year. Like this table is being automatically constructed via a GitHub action whenever someone gets an approved pull request. So such cool stuff. Fabian's asking, what is the future of the RPA? I am questioning because now we have the agents. Okay, so that's not really Hacktoberfest related. RPA still has utility because AI agents are almost always restricted to online and APIs and integrations and web. RPA is still offline stuff. So there's that relevance, but it's not really Hacktoberfest, but RPA is still a relevant thing for certain groups that need that legacy software, offline software, no integration or no API software that needs to be controlled or manually or by a robot on a person's device. Yep. Noob and live. It's a free ticket. Hey, you never know, man. You never know. Like okay, so it's all about the charity that we pick, the app that we're building, and then the partner that is helping administrate the Hack for Good build at Knowledge. So it depends. Yeah. Okay. So during this office hours, I was going to go through our repositories and go through any of the open pull requests, but it doesn't look. Oh, is this one? Nia submitted one, and I get to look at it because she put it in a branch. Thank you, Nia. Thanks. Oh yeah. So I'm gonna start working on this one. But if questions do come in, I'll take a pause and answer questions live because I do want to make sure if you are hanging out and you're wondering about participating and you haven't submitted 6 pull requests yet, I would love to talk it through with you on air or on the stream. Okay, so let me read through what Nia has so far in this run scheduled job action that she was working on. I was trying to create an action to run a scheduled job, but I think there's scoping issues. For starters, I couldn't select a reference of a scheduled job as input as I could when creating this action in global. The action does not currently work. I didn't get a chance to finish troubleshooting the issue. And then Astrid's cool valid checker did pass, but it's not working, so I'm going to take a look at it. And so part of the office hours is as we get them live, I'm going to do some reviews over them just so that everyone has kind of like an insight into how our reviewers think about reviewing these things. because it's helpful to know what's on the other side, because there are things that we think about that you might not necessarily know or even know that we think about. And that's helpful to know, so that you can avoid certain issues, add things that we actually like. Yeah, so we'll take a look at that. On my side, to get started, I actually will go to Nia's branch on her fork, and let me jump into my dev instance, and that will require me to probably delete an existing app that I have on my PDI and then install hers, which shouldn't take long. So just give me 1 second. Here's Action Pack. Let me just do some good old cleanup. I hope I didn't have unsaved work on this, because I definitely am deleting it without thinking about it. Oh well. All right, so while that deletes, that's deleted. Okay, so we can continue. All right, let me refresh. And then let's import a new app. And I have Nia's fork, and then her branch was, where is it? No, that's not it. This branch. Can I not highlight that? Copy. Okay. Now let's pick that branch. And I already have a credential saved. All right, so let me backtrack a little bit. Why am I able to just suddenly go into Nia's branch? It's her fork in her branch, but once I import this, you'll see I have full. I don't have full access. Nia, did you not grant it on your pull request? Let me look. Where is it? Here it is. Usually, it gives us access to work on it. And I'm wondering why it didn't. Usually when someone submits a pull request, it says something like allow them to edit your code. I wonder if Nia is defaulted to turn that off. That might have been it. So there might be another way for me to do this. Let me think. I guess I could fork from hers. Because I already have a fork that exists. Action Pack. Yeah. Whoa, hello. I could delete my fork real quick. I guess that's okay. Oh, so Nia said it should have allowed me. Did I do this incorrectly? Maybe the URL is wrong. That might be why. Let me retry. Oh, I think that's why. I think I just had the URL wrong. Never mind. You're good. Thanks, Nia. So what I did by accident was I was in the branch fork with the entire URL, and it should have just been the base URL. I don't think Ben's like, or did Earl troll himself? Earl and trolling himself. Come on. What more iconic? I don't think that was trolling. That was just me being dumb. Yeah, I think that's just me being dumb. Okay. I also forgot. Let me put some light background music on. Very light. Which one? Night driving. All right. Okay, so I have... Wow, that's taking a while to import. It's actually a lot longer than I expected. I was about to make a joke, but I shouldn't on air. Never mind. Okay. While that's waiting to load, let me check if... I'll read through this pull request that's open and assigned to somebody else right now. So code snippets is a repository of a bunch of code snippets that we have. Everyone in the chat knows what joke I'm thinking about. Anyways, code snippets is a repository of ServiceNow helpful script code and all that stuff that we have. That would be beneficial just putting it out on one location. So people are submitting their code snippets. If we want to have a scenario like based on field 1 of big list of comma separated values, we need to provide its relevant field 2, which need not to be repeated again. The key value pair is huge and often changing. In that case, we can make use of description table to fetch key value pairs and then based off of a calculated field. We probably should update the template to say how to check mark this in Markdown, because you just have to put an X in the middle of it. What did Shreya say? Could you please remove the third file, create task, because it doesn't appear to contain any code. If it was added intentionally for a specific purpose, let me know. It was created as part of last year. They didn't know how to remove it. That's common. One of the most common things that we see in our pull requests is that that unintended files get pulled into a pull request. And that's because for a lot of people, the concept of forking and branching is still very new and sometimes kind of confusing, especially when it goes into pull request. Because, I mean, if you didn't know, a pull request is... how much do I want to explain? Because I guess not. We haven't actually fully explained this year why is it called a pull request and what does it mean by push and pull and all that kind of stuff. But what I'm trying to get at is one of the common misconceptions when someone submits a pull request is they think when I submit this pull request, it is a snapshot of what my work looks like at that moment. And that is what I'm submitting, which is technically incorrect. What it should be, or what you should be saying is, when I submit a pull request, I am submitting this branch entirely as what I'm trying to submit as contribution to the target repository. And the difference between saying it's a snapshot of my work right now versus I'm submitting this branch is because if the pull request is tied to the entire branch, regardless of time. And so you can submit a pull request and then make changes to that branch. And if that pull request is still open, all those changes are included in that pull request. It only becomes a snapshot once a person merges it, because it merges the code of your branch at that moment into the target repository. And then from there on, that pull request is closed. So there's no open pull request. So there's no pull request tied to that branch anymore, but that branch could technically still exist. And so you may do further work on that branch and do more stuff on that branch. And then when you open a new pull request for that branch, it's the same thing. It's not a snapshot. It is simply, I am submitting this branch to be merged into the main repository. That's a common misconception. It's good to explain every year. So that's what's happening in here. Vishnu says, I understand. I have that file and it's not meant to be there, but I don't know how to remove it. Very common. And we don't hold that against anybody. And kudos to Shreya for explaining it with a screenshot and saying how it is. I'm gonna guess that all of us are around the world, so it's probably like almost 2 a.m. for at least people in India. But if this was 3 hours ago, so they submitted this at their 11 p.m. Yeah, they probably are asleep. They might have submitted this late at night, and then now they're asleep, so they're not acting on it. And so, just like how Nia's was like, "Oh, you're allowed to edit my stuff," I can go in here and do those changes. So this file is unnecessary. I can go in here and delete it myself and commit that to their branch. See, I'm in their fork and their branch, and I just changed it. Now, if I go back to that pull request and go to conversation and reload, you'll notice that files change went from 3 to 2. It says that I did something on it. And if I go up here, files changed, and I scroll down, that bad file is no longer there. It sounds like Shreya has already done the review elsewhere, but if I wanted to review it too, I would go through and make sure they said yes to all the things that are relevant to here. This is a template, by the way. Whenever you open up a pull request, this template is included. And then look through custom fields, but they mentioned that that's part of the whole point. Yeah, it looks fine. And let me make sure that folder structure looks right. Yep, looks good. And so I just reviewed this on air, so I'm going to say I reviewed it, and I went ahead. I went ahead and did the changes for you. Looks great. Thank you for doing that contribution, and we look forward to seeing more contributions from you. Submit review. And from here, I don't want to steal it from Shreya, but I want to show what we usually do. So once everything is approved and everything has been reviewed and everything looks good, on the reviewer's side, we have 3 options. We have a create a merge commit, we have squash and merge, and we have rebase and merge. We like to do squash and merge because what that means is when we take your code that you're asking us to pull, a pull request, and when we push this code into our repository, the main one, we're going to take all of the work you've done, and if it was across 6 different changes, 6 commits, it's going to squash them down to 1 commit and make it a lot more cleaner of a commit, and merge that 1 commit into our main repository. So that's what I'm going to do, and that's done. So I have merged that in. This one's officially closed and reviewed, and sorry, Shreya, for stealing your thing. Oh, a new one came in. I can review that one too, but I'll jump over to Nia's now. How's the chat going? Anyone stash their work or simply commit? I got a brush up on Stefan, yeah, I'm curious, anyone stash their work or simply commit? I got to brush up on stashing overall as a concept and the use cases. I have a great write-up about that. If you go to our developer advocate blog and look for, that double login for you, source control, where is it already scrolled off? Take your time. Yeah, so in this one, handling stashes, on this, I'll put this in the chat too. This part explains what stashes are, when to use them, when to not use them, what to do with them, when you should recommit the stashes, when you should skip test stashes entirely. I try to talk about it as much as possible in here. So, yeah. Laszlo says I rarely stash unless it's other people's work. I know, yeah, it's true. I like discarding when I can, just because then I know that things are in sync. Have a good dinner, Ben. And okay, so where was I? I'm gonna jump back into Nia's. Cool. Nia's is open, is ready. So let me refresh my studio and get into Action Pack. There are 49 actions in here now. That is really dope. That's so cool. Whose idea was this? Was this Astrid's idea? I think it was Astrid's idea. So that's really cool. This is really cool to see a utility like this growing. At one point, we should probably, maybe at the end of Hacktoberfest, we'll go and audit and go through each one and make sure they work. Wizzo says, I must ask you a question. Cool. Okay, so Nia said that her thing wasn't working, so let's take a look at it together. Run a schedule job, but running into scoping issues. You know, I wonder if we could just include the scoping privileges. Would that work? No, because it's the script itself that's denying it. Okay, so I'm guessing it's this one. Ooh, David's eating chili and cheese tater tots. That was my college comfort food. I got to college before everything started getting healthier. And I remember one of our eateries, you could order chili cheese curly fries. So a big like plate of it, like a big plate of curly fries with chili cheese all over it. But every entree at this eatery allowed a side. So you could get like a side salad, a piece of fruit, etc. But on particularly horrible nights, we would get chili cheese curly fries with a side of curly fries. College, to have a good metabolism again. I miss those days. All right, let's take a look at this action. So we're bringing in a table and a sysid, which is interesting because you would think that we don't even need the table, but I'm guessing that's part of the action, the necessary stuff for the action. But let me take a look at the schedule job table. Okay, so we have let me change scopes real quick and make a test job. And I'll just say, oh, hello. All right, so we have a sysid on there, and I'll leave that up there for later. New glide record into the inputs table, scheduled job. Execute now. Wouldn't it always be the scheduled job table then? And no outputs yet. Any outputs in here? No. Okay. All right, let's see. Execute scheduled job ServiceNow via script. I'm using Google, and this is the first time I've used Google in forever. Oh, the child tables is this auto. Okay, I see. Thanks, Nia. for that context. Whoa, how old is this? Oh, I was like, it referenced wiki.servicenow.com. That means this link is going to be dead. Woof. Let's see what happens when that loads. Jeez, we probably should use a much more recent script then. This is more recent. Is this auto script? Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so because if y'all notice when I went in here, there are different kind of schedule jobs and they hit different tables accordingly. So you need to make sure you're hitting the right. Well, what's the parent table? I bet you could just run it. It'd be fun to test whatever the extended table is and just see if that could be the default one. That'll be an interesting thing to test. So it is what she's saying is execute now, but you're saying it's for the global scope. So let's check on, let me do. This doesn't work for scoped applications. It only works for global. What is the correct way to execute this from a scoped app? Well, if it's running a system, is that not considered? I guess it would be under scope. Just for fun, because I love seeing these things compete. So just to test this though, just to see the same errors that Neo was hitting. Okay, so it worked, but that's because I'm in global, I bet. So let me change scopes and verify. Did my oh hello show up? Doesn't look like it. There's that one. Oh, well, I didn't really have an error at this point. I didn't have any other steps, so let me check through. I should configure an output to see what happens on it. But so it runs, but it doesn't actually hit the log, which I guess I should make sure this works. Am I confused? Okay, there. That's mine. So that's the one I just did. Let me see what people are saying in the chat. You can try to use the parent table or if not, find the record in the parent table with the sys ID and then with the sysclass name, run another glide record. That's true. You can just find the type. You can try running that script first in background scripts and global script to verify it works in the simplest case. My log wasn't sorted by most recent. But, I mean, the fact that I only have 1 in here when it should have been 2 because I ran that test. Okay, yeah, so it is working. But when I test it outright, it doesn't want to work. So let me just verify again. In fact, let me I'll run it twice, one for sysauto script and one for sysauto. So log, let's refresh it, see if it shows up. Nope. And then let's run it again for sysauto, see if it works there. Nope. Okay, so neither of them are working. Let me grab Nia's script and jump into a background script to make sure the script itself is working. So it creates the sys trigger, and there it is. Okay, so this script works. As a workaround, you can try creating a sys trigger record with a FT action to resolve the issue. Just true. Because that glide record thing is all it's doing is creating this record, this sys trigger record. Which is not found. So that might be a little harder to do since it's not even tracking it properly. Interesting. Why didn't that work? Why is it not linking it? Oh, oops. List.do. Scheduled job. Disabled. Is that why? Or is that just because, oh, trigger time disabled might just be because of on demand. So what if it was on periodically or once? And let me throw it into the past or something. Does that change this? These triggers are getting changed rapidly. What is that online after truncate thing? Yeah, it's worth a try. Let me just test this real quick. It'll be an interesting data point if it only works on not on demand. Okay, so it's not that. I just want to test it real quick. Okay, so let's go back to my original. So this works as is. And I'll verify that again. Refresh that. Oop, not that one. Refresh this. There it is. Now let's change scope to action pack and run it. Access to execute job, test schedule job from scope action pack has been refused due to properties cross scope access policy. I'm wondering if we can just grant the I wonder if we could put a warning on this action to just say like you need to grant, or I guess we could. No, we shouldn't be inserting the cross scope policy. Nia, your code works, and it's not because it's I guess it is because of its global versus scope, but it's not that you're using the wrong code. It's that it's getting locked from the cross scope. So I think the best course of action is to change the description of this action and say this job will fail. This job will only work, this action works only if the table that this scheduled job is on has a cross-scope access policy approving its access. And leave it at that. Because like if I go back and I go watch, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to change to action pack. And I am going to insert and stay so that this is in action pack. So it is in action pack now. And I am going to test this action again and make sure. Okay, so it worked. Look, so it's immediately starting to go. So let me run test again. Now it's not working. Oh, hey, thanks, Adam. I have a new sysid. He's right. So let me run this. That ran, refresh. There it is. Yeah, okay, so it works. It's the cross scope. Fix RCAs, fix script like Employee Center. Why not configure a scheduled flow instead of a scheduled job? Well, it's an action. So this is just utility stuff. So we're creating a utility that lets you run a scheduled job via a flow action. Without having, if you already have the scheduled job and you don't want to recreate it inside of flow, we're trying to create that utility. I see what oh yeah, that's why it showed up twice, because run once might have triggered it. But do we want to solve for the cross scope issue is what I'm wondering. I don't think we should, because an action shouldn't be quietly injecting a cross scope without approval. Plus, if it's a denied access and it's not tracking, then it's going to break that action. Yeah, I think that's what I would recommend is go into your action. Finish out the action. If it needs an output or some form of verification of it running or something based off of maybe this is trigger, I don't know. But change the properties to say this will only work if there's a cross scope for execute job granted to the table that matches the scheduled job. But I still think this is a really good action. It's a good utility. Like I'd use it for different things. it just needs that one caveat to make sure it works. Yeah, can inputs actually, can we add are there label inputs? So that we can display it in line? I don't think so. That'd be cool if it could. But yeah, I think that's what would be a good path. So in here, I would say what would I say? Hi Nia, this is actually working great. It just runs into scoping issues if it's a scheduled job that doesn't belong in the source scope. I would recommend that you simply update the description to say that a specific cross-scope policy is required, and then name exactly what policy that the person should create before executing this action. Once you finish your action and update the description to include this, then I think it's mergeable. Thank you again for contributing, and thank you for submitting early so that I can work on it on stream. Yay! Okay. Let's see what else has come in since then. No, thank you, Nia. Thank you. Any new things come in? Not for Action Pack. Hack for Good. Something came in. And then Code Snippets had 2. Oh. Let's peek at Wizzo Floyd's review. Wizzo Floyd assigned himself 23 minutes ago and hasn't acted on it yet. There's no description, so I would send it back. Prevent users from clicking stop timer and letting it run while they are idle. The goal of this script was to encourage intentional time worked entries. Create onload client script, adjust which table you want it on. In this case, it will be the incident table. Oh, it's just hiding the button? Oh, and it's jQuery stuff, which should be discouraged. Meh. Oh, you suck. And then he said, actually, I'm testing the auto removal thing as well. All right. Well, one, it doesn't have a description, so Wizzo Floyd should send it back. I don't know. How do people feel about having that kind of? I guess it's a utility, like it's a code snippet that someone might want, and that's correct. So I don't know. I think it's acceptable. Would I implement such a thing? Would I implement such a thing? Probably not, just because it's like it's just interesting to do, to hide the button and stuff like that. It's like the I like transparency, but then they're contending that like if people can just start it and be idle, then that's not very transparent. I guess it's true. See, I try to argue myself back and forth on it. Yeah, we all talk about this all the time. The reviewing team, should we be reviewing on adherence to best practices as much as possible? Probably. With the wide exception of some people can't operate under the best practices because they are in a legacy system, or because they have to work in someone else's legacy code that is out of date, but they need to update something, so it's helpful to have code snippets about it. And for any other number of reasons where even the best practice, when a best practice should be overran, kind of thing. And we can't decide that for everybody. But what we can do is, if it's an egregious thing that's against best practices, but it's a well thought out piece of code, we often will ask the person to add a disclaimer on their README file or on their as a comment on their code, to say at the top, like we had an example of this earlier last week, where it was like, this could easily be done with like a data metric and shouldn't be done via script, but put that disclaimer at the top because it was a script that showed how to get it done, and they put a lot of effort into it. So for the sake of Hacktoberfest, that's okay. Like, yeah. And some of us are more strict about that, and some of us are less strict. But that's just the nature of having multiple reviewers. Yeah. Well, I'll leave that one for Wizo because he assigned himself to it. I'll take a look at this one. An on-change client script and a script include that adds the X number of business days to a field, I bet. They said they did everything. Look, one of them is the correct check mark. Okay, so let me take a look. Hackodev 1530. Oh, it's two different code snippets, but in one, which is fine. It matches the description. It's cool. They're doing it all in one when we usually see people try to split them up so they get multiple credit for different pull requests. So that's cool. They did it in one. That's fine. On-change client script that calls the script include that adds the X number of business days to the planned start date and auto-populates the planned end date based on the type. It's in the right folders. Add a description. No extraneous files. Oh, I see. This is all relevant to one thing, though. Right? Yeah. So I actually don't like that they're in two separate folders because the context of it is lost. I'd be okay with it if they linked from one to the other so they didn't know that this was connected, but they didn't do that. So I will request some changes. Hey, thank you for your contribution. Everything looks good except for I would prefer if you put them all into one single folder so that people will know that the files are related to each other, or update each README to link to the other README so that people have context of where the other related script is. Once you make either one of those changes, I'll be happy to approve it for merging. All right, so I requested changes, and then I'm going to unassign myself because I'm not sure if I'll be the same person that will be able to look at it later. So hopefully the next reviewer will take a look at it and they'll see what they want to do with it. Sweet. You can look at Rompria's Hack for Good Ideas for ServiceNow powered health monitoring and reporting platform designed to improve maternal well-being by connecting pregnant women, hospitals, insurance providers, and government health Okay. Let me go back to Hack for Good idea submission. And let me see which one I'm attached to. Okay, I'm attached to mine. So how do I want to go about looking at? I like to look at these submissions in platform. That's why. So I try to import it and take a look at it. But I guess I could just review the XML file. What's this? I don't think we were including README files for each thing, were we? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. So what is this? Yeah, there's no requirement for that. It shouldn't be generating one. Andy, share a link to what? Oh, was that yours, Zach? Are you what was that? Hack Now, or what was your name on here? Your Hacko Dev, Zach? It looked good. I just wanted to make that one change. Rampriya, Z-Strom not. I see. Rampriya, did you see what I was saying though? I don't know where these README files came from. Oh, that's not yours. Sorry. Where did these two README files come from? I'm not sure what they're supposed to be. Oh, you must have been the other person. Oh, here you are. Wizzo has yours. I see. We're just missing your description, buddy. Everything else looks fine. Yeah, I'm not sure what we're gonna need you to remove those. So just so thanks for your submission, Rampriya. Can you remove those README files and folders since they're not related? Let me make sure. Let me look through the. You know what? I never did. I never went back to see that code on format this so it's readable for me. Make sure I don't have a conflict. Nope. All right. Empowering pregnant women through health and nutrition tracking, especially in rural, face serious issues. Pregnant women to lower diet, supplements. Potential impact. Yeah, looks great. All right, so just that one change, and I will submit that for Rempriya. And I'm sure she's already going through and deleting those files now. But once those get deleted, then that's good to go. And we're at time, so I'll start wrapping up. But yeah, that's what we do. That's what the reviewer side of things looks like. We just go through each thing, see what the person's intending, make sure it looks good, formatted well. Code doesn't have inherent security flaws. If they are wondering why certain things won't work, we try to run through it too and help them. If they're confused on how to move forward, we try to help them through that, all of it. For those of you watching, especially Zach or anybody else that was watching that are just doing code snippets, do the next level up. It's fun. It's fun to see how source control works in ServiceNow side of things, and we're building stuff together, doing some good stuff this year. So challenge you to do one step higher than code snippets once you finish doing a couple of code snippets, you know? Yeah, cool. That's office hours. Thanks everybody for joining. Hope you have a great day and keep on. And for those of you who participated early, hopefully you get confirmation that your pull requests are fully approved. It takes like 6 days or 7 days for them to get through the review. Okay, let me rephrase that. Once we approve your pull request and merge it in, then on hacktoberfest.com, when you go into your profile, they get put into a holding pattern for 1 week. And so until that 1 week expires for each of them, they have to sit in the accepted state for 1 week before they officially get approved for Hacktoberfest. So within a day, I have 3 that are going to be fully approved, and they're going to count to my full progress. So that's exciting for them, for that to happen soon. And then the next day I'll get some more. Yeah. Check your profile to see how that's going. But yeah, thank you for participating. I hope you all have a great day. Bye. And there we go. And cue the music.